Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the world. We're broadcasting live from Austin, Texas. We have representatives from Texas. Let's see, Hungary, Mexico, and I'm sure we'll have a few other people sneak in just a little bit. By the way, for those of y'all that don't know, we're publishing both. I mean, we have the studio audience right here. We're publishing to Facebook. We're publishing to LinkedIn as well, and we're starting experiments with a group of people that are here that'll be very interactive. This is kind of the same thing that happens almost every week, but there's going to be some interaction. Typically, there's going to be a theme. Then around that theme, there's other time that we actually spend just interaction time. More than just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But you will get exposure on Facebook as well as LinkedIn as well, and we're starting to expand our reach, especially with the LinkedIn, because of my 12,000 followers on LinkedIn. So make sure you take advantage of that. Today, what we're going to be doing is following up on connecting some of the ventures from the Texas-Hungary Venture Bridge. And we just had a meeting with five of the ventures, actually six of the ventures that are taking the next step in the whole process. But we'll hear from more that were in the program that I led in Budapest a couple weeks ago during this program as well. Just as a reminder, we're here in the Venture Outfitter. The idea about this is, Tech Ranch has several different areas or several different divisions of what it does. But the main thing, and the thing I'm most passionate about, is how do we take care of our entrepreneurs, startups, and scale-ups to help them take on the world. Here at the location that we're at, we're working out of a place called Duo Works. Linda Blackman, who was in Venture Force 17. Venture Force is a program that Tech Ranch has been running. We've run more than 50 cohorts of Venture Force, and she was in Venture Force 17, so years and years ago. She bought out the Tech Ranch co-working place. I started Austin's first co-working space. One of the things I love about this location is it's really well positioned in Austin for, like, in the middle of, if you look at all of Austin, most people think downtown is the center, but really where we're at three major intersections, 183, 360, and Mopac intersect right there through my window. I can see it about 100 meters away from where I'm sitting right now. Make a long story short, if you need a physical point of presence or co-working or whatever it might be for your business, or just if you're hosting meetings, like next week we have a group of people that are hosting meetings here, just taking advantage of this location. It's a really good location, and we can get you special discounts and stuff like that. Coming soon, we have a number of different programs that are happening. The next couple of weeks are going to be thematic. Next week, part of what I hope happens on the 16th is we're going to be talking about holidays. There's 9 different holidays from 9 different religions that happen right around this time. I happen to be Christian, so of course I celebrate Christmas, but we just had our Jewish friends celebrating Hanukkah, a lot of different things. And so part of what we're going to just do is have more of an open community conversation about preparing for the holidays. And then on the 23rd, on Thursday the 23rd, we're specifically going to have some stuff about refugees. There's a lot of technology that's being used for refugees around the world, and it's really interesting about how it's being used. We're going to hear from 2 experts, one from Turkey, one from India that's worked as well in the same region in the Syrian area of the world, or in Syria, and area right around Syria. We'll be talking about some of the technologies there. And I just remind you that a lot of times one of the early adopters for your technologies are in these places that you might not even imagine, because there's such extreme pain around some part of our need that entrepreneurs can typically walk in and solve a problem and make money at the same time as doing it. It's pretty interesting. So we'll have a conversation about that on the 23rd. On the 30th of December, we'll keep on going, even though I won't be working too much that week, but I will host the VO Weekly. We're going to have 3 different experts about food security speaking as well, and I hope to be showing off some of the stuff, be showing off at least some of the slides as well from Hungary, where we went through the vertical farming applications at this one place called Tungstrom, as well as a couple other things to be able to talk about during food security. So that's coming soon. Just as a side note, we did just have a Chilean delegation. Most people don't know that Tech Ranch actually started. Well, I was an Austin-based entrepreneur. The first entrepreneurs, the first 1,000 entrepreneurs to go through one of our programs were actually in Chile. And what's exciting about that is there were 16 different companies that were represented. One of those companies, as an example, is now a $25 million company and is grown up from some of the activities that happened years ago. The guy in the lower right that's having a martini with me, in his case, he's one of the entrepreneurs that I met all the way back to 2003, has now more than 1,500 employees in his company. So it's exciting to see that the seeds that were planted years and years ago are now now these businesses are durable, interesting sized businesses that whether you're in Hungary or Texas or Mexico or wherever it might be, we can start tying into. And they're looking for products. Many of them came back in the same way that they went through our original programs and said, hey, we're now looking for technologies in the following area, and we have technologies to apply in the following area. We'll do a follow-up about that in just a few weeks. And we also hosted an Egyptian delegation here in Austin over the last few days. This is part of the city of Austin applied for a State Department grant along with the Austin Community College. And Tech Ranch is really happy to support the project. I taught the lean startup portion of the project, and they were mainly fashion entrepreneurs that were here. Got to spend some time at Austin's Oasis, which is a special place in Austin, but I can tell you more about that later. But the main thing about it is it's all about building bridges. If for those of you that are in our programs, the VO community, you can always take advantage of all the activities that are happening in the VO community, including this program called the VO Weekly. The online community as well is available to just generally everyone. You don't have to spend any money to do that. If you want to take advantage of the VO network, though, where you get special offers from vendors, priority access to special events, and also access to the Venture Essentials program, and then also part of the corporate innovation shopping list. What is that? A lot of times corporations, really large multi-billion-dollar corporations, come to us and say, we're looking for companies with the following parts, and that solve this one problem. Part of the thing about it is, before we put you in front of a company like that, we need to know that you're packaged for the conversation, even packaged at the most basic level. Doesn't mean that we have to own stock in your company or anything like that, but there needs to be some packaging. And so taking you through that process is exactly what we're doing there. And we'll go through the service offerings. If you have questions, ask more later. But part of what I want to do today is follow up with some of the ventures that we met. You see on the Tuesday program, we had a number of companies go through. We actually had, 20 different entrepreneurs in the room, and got to see some really cool technology, meet some really cool people. And I actually want to hear from them. So I know that we have a handful of them here today. And I think even before we started recording, I was like, hey, Anna, I want you to make sure you give your elevator pitch. Anna, I still want you to do your elevator pitch. But we'll start with Barrow, because we put him through the paces when in fact, I was sharing some of the videos about practicing elevator pitches the other day. Barrow, I'm going to put you on front, and with your role, Barrow runs one of the incubators in Budapest called the BME Z10. BME is like the MIT of Hungary. But he's also an entrepreneur as well. So if you want to say anything about BME Z10, that's cool.
Yeah,
But
sure.
then hop
Sure,
straight in and
yeah.
tell us about your venture.
Okay, let's start with BMEZ10, right? Okay. Hey everyone, it's Bero. Born, raised in Budapest, Hungary. Then I moved to the United States. I lived there for one academic year. I played water polo scholarship, and then I lived in California, and then I moved to the Netherlands. I graduated in Utrecht, and then I moved home to bring all these experiences and mindset back to my country, and try to plant the seeds here. So I've been working with startups for 4.5, 5 years now, approximately, and running BMEZ 10 about 2 years, almost 2 years. It's going to be 2 years old in February. We are a typical university-based incubator. Actually, we do not have fund, unfortunately, so we have a tight cooperation with different VCs and other investors in Hungary. We are running an acceleration program twice a year, and then those companies who are being funded by some of the investors in Hungary can move into the incubator, and then we just keep on mentoring them and pushing them forward through network and specified mentoring and coaching. And then once they are mature enough, they just flying out of the incubator, and but we keep them on track. So our survival rate, which is we're quite proud of it. It's 95% within 2 years. So that's pretty fine. The companies, the total amount of company that were being funded in the last 2 years as 15, and those 15 companies have raised a total amount of money, approximately $4 million, um, within approximately 2 years. So that's BMSE 10. Um, Hopefully and fortunately, the entire board and the management of the university is quite satisfied with the job we are doing, and and it's a great opportunity for not just for the incubator but our startups as well to build partnership with TechWrench and Kevin through the program, and then hopefully with you guys in the near future as well. So that's about BMEZ
Yeah,
10.
thank you for. I'm real excited about it because, like, I mean, I did have the same feeling that I've had when I was at MIT right here in Boston. Walking around the campus of BME, you can feel the brilliance. And one of the things that Barrow set up for me was he set up an opportunity for me to actually interact with a bunch of the students as well, like even the undergrads, and it was palatable the entrepreneurial appetite and zeal and the technology knowledge. So yeah, tell us now about your startup, Barrow.
And the startup is called Rolling Technologies. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you show the video, then some people might get some idea about what we do. So Rolling Technologies is basically a company that is aiming to electrify and organize electric scooter sharing companies and fleets in our cities, because urban mobility, making urban mobility sustainable is a great challenge for all the cities, not just in Hungary, not just in the United States, but all around the world. And fortunately, there are some answers, there are some solutions, and one of the most efficient solution is bringing electric mobility to a higher level. But for that, we definitely need to make it more efficient, not just for the sharing companies, but for the municipalities as well, and then for the riders, for the users. So basically, what we do, we are developing electric scooter charging and docking stations and building a network, starting in Hungary in at the end of this year. So basically, in a couple of weeks, we are doing the first installment in the first district, nearby the castle in Budapest, nearby the Danube. It's going to be a beautiful view. I've got the chance last week to have a negotiation and an official meeting with the mayor of Budapest, and uh, it seems like the politics is supporting the whole rolling idea and solution. So within the next couple of 2 or 3 years, we are planning to build and install a nationwide electric scooter charging and docking network, um, and with that we can optimize the finances of the electric scooter sharing companies. They need to hire less people for charging and organizing the scooters, because we can do it locally and out there on the streets. Therefore, uh, it's not only saving some money, but their electric scooters are going to spend more time on the street, so they can actually earn more money with them.
Yeah,
on
we
one hand.
especially not stuck in the middle of, like, a lot of times here in Austin, they'll just be sitting on the sidewalk,
Yeah,
like blocking access.
yeah. And then
You
the
were
other
Can
thing
you
is that,
mention the company? I know you might not be able to mention this publicly yet, but can you mention the company that you're doing this rollout with? Because I think
yeah,
it would capture the attention
it is
of people
official.
here
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Austin.
It's public. So we work together with Bird, which is one of the huge companies. We work together with Bird. We already have we already contacted the European headquarter of Bird, so we are in a negotiation with them in a future cooperation, not just on a Hungarian level. And fortunately, it's a really good news that last week we had a negotiation and a business meeting with Lime, which is another huge American company, and the Hungarian branch, the Hungarian franchise branch of Lime seem to be open to cooperate with us. So probably in 2022, when the first installments are going to take shape, we are going to cooperate and have a partnership with both American giants in Hungary. So
Yeah,
that's
well, and the exciting thing about that is part of the message that I'll now, in stepping back and saying why this is important to our overall network is, discovery of technology. Just as a reminder for the four verbs that we work around, in the network: discover talent, develop talent, connect talent to opportunity, and help it scale. In this case, Bird and Lime are discovering this jewel of a company all the way over in Budapest, and then you start there, and then you can expand out to. I mean, it's really interesting.
that's
Everything doesn't happen in Silicon Valley anymore like it used to. So perfect. Thanks for
sounds
sharing
good.
the story. Anything else we should know?
Well, not really. I'm really looking forward to having more conversation about, well, not just the company itself, but the potential growth of the company in the United States. So, well, not for now. I think it was a good start.
That sounds great. And so, if anyone that's watching or that sees the video afterwards and stuff like that wants more information, Beryl, what's the best way? They can obviously reach out to us directly, and then we can connect them. But how do they reach to you? How do they connect to you directly?
It's www.rollindocking.com. This is our website. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on LinkedIn, and you can visit our website anytime. And then you will find out the email address of our CEO and myself as well. So feel free to reach us out.
Post it all in the chat.
That sounds great. Go ahead and post it into the chat as well, and we'll make sure
Great.
that
Yeah,
we
yeah. Okay,
get that
I'll
to
send it.
everybody. And then a lot of times, what Jello, my assistant, will actually do as well is put links into the show notes of the program. So he'll actually make sure that he gets to that as well. Let's do this. I want to hear from a couple of other companies. I can see Zolt from Black Belt. Zolt, are you ready to roll with giving us a little bit of background, what you're up to and stuff like that? Beryl kind of like he blurred he didn't do exactly the really tight tech ranch style elevator pitch. I won't give him too hard of a time. I gave him a really hard time the other day, and y'all saw some of the videos about it. But Zolt, why don't you go next?
Sure. Thank you, Kevin. Just a quick update. We have another colleague here who just updated me that he had this opportunity already to pitch it. But if you want, it would be actually great to have the updated pitch
Yeah, I
regarding
know.
our meeting.
Either one of you, yeah, either one of you, whoever would like to lead it would be great. That'd be great. If it's you or if it's who will actually share it?
Myself, if that's
Okay,
all right with
perfect.
you.
Yeah, please.
So I really prepared a shorter one, so I understand that, especially in our industry, software development is a huge area. So I'm trying to give the best to have the focus on it. So we at Black Belt are developing business software with low coding technologies to reduce developer frustrations, while decreasing the operational costs and the expenditures for the companies by providing development teams and also pre-implemented software coding best practices into their projects. So that's pretty much about the pitch. So why it is unique is that by low coding, you can reuse some of the components of the existing codes, and basically the time to market and the development itself becomes much easier. It's easier to iterate the different parts of it in an agile way. So how you can imagine it, you can have time to market of 3 weeks of any software idea or project that people can click and it can be published, which is, I think, a very unique on every market and not only in the US. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, getting into the market like in a very short period of time on a low code tool. Is there a specific area that you guys really like, a specific industry that you really differentiate yourselves in?
Yes, our early entrance would very likely to be scale up. So we are actually looking for those tech startups who has very strict deadlines. They need to provide milestones, and their development might not be able to keep up with the scaling. So we are definitely aiming to enter some of the markets on those fields so that we can help them to better reach the targets and have showcased MVPs or proof of concepts available for them.
Yeah, so a lot of times, as an example, for those of y'all that or to help explain what he's saying, is like a scale up. A lot of times, a startup that's been going, that's actually now, VCs are throwing tens of millions of dollars at, and as they build up, there's all these applications around the core business that need to be built extremely fast. That in those applications that you can leverage their tools for. Anything you'd like to say more about that, Zolt?
Just about the development side, is that also everyone is facing developer challenges. It's very hard to source them, keep them, and have these challenges. And these kind of tools and technology also helps them to keep the developers, because they don't need to do the administrative part of the coding, but focus on the important and strategic ways. So that's pretty much it. And thanks for the additional explanation.
Perfect. Got it. Well, thank you for joining, and I look forward to seeing things move forward with the application that you're doing and stuff like that. I meant to put Tom Evans, who is a long-term Austinite, on the spot. I just saw his note in the chat that he's dropping off, but he'll be one of the other entrepreneurs that he does a lot of marketing programs. He'll be introducing some of his marketing programs to you guys as part of in supporting your processes for coming into Austin. I should have, if I'd known that he was about to drop, I would have put him on the spot. So thanks, Tom, for being here. Hopefully you get to see this video a little bit later, and we'll be following up about that. Anna, I put you on the spot the other day in the program, and thank you for working with us. Tell us about your platform and why it's important.
Yeah. So pests destroy up to 40% of the global crop production, which means almost $300 billion losses. With SmartLab, we are developing smart trap system to monitor pest insects and help farmers to protect against them effectively. With our solution, the farmers can protect their crops, optimize their pesticide use, and make agriculture more sustainable. So Perfect. This is the short pitch.
Perfect. Did you have a question? I'm glad that you actually did it in the short pitch format. Do you have a question that you ask at the end of your pitch?
Yeah, you mentioned that I should use some question like, do you care about the pesticides in your food? And it's it's a really good one, but yeah, maybe I should use that.
Well, and it's only let me play with your pitch a little bit, so that everyone hears it. Like, I'm concerned, especially in the United States, that a lot of times the food that we're eating has too much pesticide. And so Anna's company, she came up with a way to monitor the pest. And then through monitoring the pest, you actually don't have to throw so much pesticide at the food, right? And so the nice thing about that is it lowers the cost of the amount of pesticide that's being used. But to me, the consumer who likes to eat food, that doesn't, who doesn't want to have cancer, knock on wood, it's like it's even better from a standpoint to being able to crank that down. So definitely, it's really interesting. What type of technology? Can you tell us anything about the background? Are you guys? Is your company one of the companies from BME? Tell us a little bit more about us.
Yeah, so I was a BME student, but the other founders not. So we are not a BME startup, but we also were for some weeks in the BME Z10 startup incubator. So we met each other in a science camp, and we got friends, the founder, and I grew up in a farmer family, so I am the agriculture guy in the team. And I always loved enjoying being on the field and driving a tractor or something like this. So this is why I'm so passionate about this our startup. And the other guys are really good in the business and the development part, because we have a really big hardware part in our solution.
Got it. And how far along are y'all? Like how are you implemented at a bunch of different farms, or you're at the very beginning, or?
Yeah, yeah. In this season in 2021, we had more than 200 traps. We are presented in Hungary, Romania, Ukraine, and Bulgaria. And we had also some pilots in the region. And currently, I'm studying in the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and an online master. And I also send 2 traps to the university in Illinois. So we also have 2 traps in the US.
Is there a specific type of customer that you would like to find, that you'd like to engage with, that that like if you could, if someone is listening, who would be like the perfect early adopter customer for engaging with you?
Yeah. So now we are focusing on the pests of the corn. So we basically looking for corn producers. And it's also good if you have large fields, because we are building trap networks. So not just the standalone traps, but trap networks to monitor a whole area. So the best fit for us is corn producers with large fields.
So corn producers, large fields, and obviously, since I manage the family farm here in Texas, we definitely have produced corn. So we'll have to keep that in mind, and we'll get you some exposure for that. Thank you for sharing your pitch. And also, I just want to also say thank you for being bold during the program we did a couple of Tuesdays ago in Budapest, and being a part of the process. Thanks for being here. We'd love to have you back. We will be doing an agricultural specific program in the coming weeks, and I'd love to have you come pitch again, especially on the one about food security, because this whole issue about food security, part of it is we need, especially in the United States, we need to get, we need to get a lot of the poisons out of our food. And so thank you for the work that you're doing. That's important.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah. So I want to hear from a few of the other ones, like Greg from Dermis. Really important technology. Can you actually, are you able to do video and all that sort of stuff too? It looks like you're coming on. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, it's Greg. Let me switch on my.
Yep, looks like you just started, and then I went mute, by the way, again. Oh, there you are. Perfect. Tell us all about Dermis, Greg.
Yeah. So my name is Greg Szikszai-Molnár. I'm from Dermus. We are developing a solution containing of a hardware and software to support dermatologists' job with skin issues. So our main value proposition is to help dermatologists with the skin cancer journey, and the patients as well. How? Our solution and the hardware part of the solution is an ultrasonic device where we can see underneath the skin to check the moles and how deep they are. And with this ultrasonic solution, we can even analyze the spots. And as a second opinion, we can give a danger score, let's say, a malignant score for the doctors if the given spot is a cancer or not, if it's a melanoma or basal cell carcinoma, and so on. In addition to this hardware, what is again, it's a small portable ultrasonic skin scanner device. So in addition to this, we have a web app, a software And this is to manage those ultrasonic skin images collected with our software. Yeah, basically that's all.
That's great. In fact, why this is important as an example, when I met Greg in Budapest, my mother the day before, on the Monday before, had to have skin cancer removed from her nose, and so I showed the photo of my mom's at post surgery. She's got this big bandage on her nose, and part of the issue at hand is their technology is valuable because you can use, it's a device attached to a phone. You can actually analyze what's going on with the place, and so you don't have to cut too much. You don't you don't want to miss the actual not getting all of the cancer, but you don't want to take too much because then my mom wouldn't have a nose. And so a really interesting technology about how it's coming out and stuff like that. Now you're still fairly early stage, but what are the number one things that would actually be helpful for you, Greg, that you're looking for as we connect ventures across this venture bridge?
Yeah, so we already manufactured 20 instances of our device. What is currently under the process of the FDA regulation allowance or the FDA approval to distribute them in the USA, but not as a mass production device because of the 20 instances, but just to place out those devices to dermatologists and plastic surgeons and research institutions like university or any other institutions where they could test or device or write testimonies, scientific papers, and so on. So this is one thing what I would like to do within the framework of this cooperation with you. Yes, the research, the whole research thing is another interesting story with you. And of course, we did already the key opinion leader network establishment, or let's say to get a few key opinion leaders on board. And here I could say in Texas, we have some ideas who to connect, because in Texas the sun is shining and this skin cancer is an issue. Furthermore, once we will be ready with our next generation hardware, we will start distributing it in a mass production based level. So we have to have the FDA for the next generation device as well. And for this, we would like to have a distributor. So this is another part of our potential cooperation, to find some medical device distribution companies interested in this kind of solution. And of course, we are always open for investment. So if a fund is there, then we are happy to meet those VCs as well.
That sounds great. In fact, there's a couple different cancer researchers in our network, in our mentor network, that I want to make sure we connect you with. So we'll certainly do so. So thank you. By the way, for everyone, if at all possible, one of the things to do in a little bit, I want to do a screenshot to grab faces and names. If you can, one of the things to do is to put your name, kind of like I have mine on since we're not trying to do it like with a large group, and you might take your name and then put mine says Kevin Koym Tech Ranch. You might, if you can easily change the name so that you actually have, so you publish, how do people find you? That would be great. And what we'll do is I'm going to ask Richard Kozma to pitch his business really quick. But as we're doing that, go ahead and give the update about your name, and then we're going to do we'll catch a bunch of faces in just a little bit as part of a screenshot, just to so we can publish this, because on the show notes, I want to make sure that there's links to all the different companies. And then as we publish this to Facebook Live and to LinkedIn as well, there will be a lot of other people. There's going to be a lot more people that will see those videos than are in the Zoom right now. So we'll make it a point to do that. So let's see. Tomas, you're now actually, no, Richard, let me go ahead and put you on spot first, and we'll do the screenshot in just a second. Tell us about your business, Richard.
Hi, everyone. My name is Richard Kozma, and I'm representing Femtonics, a Hungarian, let's say, small, mid-sized company. And first of all, I need to start with an apology that I couldn't attend on your Hungarian arrival, as I was still back in the US and I couldn't manage with substitute colleagues to go on your meeting. I'm sorry about that. I got this idea. Thanks. And I wasn't sure what I'm doing here because I was told it's like a one-off opportunity, but I'm happy to be here, and it seems interesting to me, and also for the company, but on different levels. Femtonics right now has different views and different divisions to pitch. The number one, which is on the product level and what I'm working on, is Femtonics has developed the fastest two-photon microscope, which allows researchers, academical neuroscientists to keep up with the speed of the brain signals in 3D. And that's something which is right now, we have installed systems in the States, and right now I'm working on to relocating and establishing an office in the States, because you need to be more local in order to reach your customers over there. I set up some really good R&D collaboration in Bayer College in Texas. So I have potential customers in Austin, fortunately. So I hope it's going to work out well for us, even in Texas, not just overall in the States. But basically that's, we are in a monopoly position because this technology has no competition, as everyone else uses, let's say, mirrors in order to scan samples. We use acousto-optical crystals and let's say a bit more complex way to guide the laser beam all around the tissues. Our microscopes can be also used for cancer research and other biomedical sciences, but looking at business-wise, there are some big pharmas who use this technology, but basically we can show them new stuff, but they usually outsource these tests to academical labs. So our primary customers are academical laboratories and research centers all around the States. The United States is the primary market for these devices, but unfortunately, in the last 10-15 years of the company, we couldn't conquer the States because we couldn't relocate ourselves, but that's my job. That's what I signed up to move there and do properly the US market. But having the opportunity to being here, we actually have developed a LAMP-based COVID test, which is right now has the CE mark, and we will have also a point of care unit, which not be just only used for COVID, for other diseases too, or viruses. So that's something what in the last 2 years we started this medical device branch. So more of the equipment which requires higher ISO certifications and more approvals, because these microscopes, what I earlier mentioned, they don't fall under any sort of regulation when you would need to have an FDA approval for distributing them in the States.
That's pretty great. Give one more example, like what your I mean, one of the things that I think is I absolutely love in the interactions that I had in Hungary is this deep tech. You know, I mean, this is obviously a really deep tech. Just so that there's like one more example, can you give one entry example that might give an example to like what's one disease, one different issue, like in looking at these, you mentioned brain signals earlier. What's one application that would be something that, you know, the general public might be able to identify that is implied by what you're talking about? I mean, like you mentioned earlier about being able to separate, you know, healthy tissue from cancerous tissue. But say a little bit more about that.
There's basically this microscope can be used for many basic research. The basic research, when you usually our customers aim for funding from any NIH, then usually neurodegenerative diseases, when you cannot really catch like we don't have a right solution to solve, let's say, depression, but the microscope is used to discover more and know more on how to what depression is first, and then how to tackle it pharmaceutically. So these research are helped and guided by our technology. For sure, but on more closer to what you are asking is we have just established, and it was all around the news in Hungary, we established the Brain Vision Center. Then one outcome of that Brain Vision Center will be to use and have brain-computer interfaces based on optical technology, meaning that you can turn on and off cells, and we have a collaboration with Boton Roska from Basel, and this is for retina topical prostheses. So meaning that giving back the vision of blind people. That's one way where our microscopes is helping to develop these studies. And also it's a complex thing. So you cannot really catch it like, okay, I'm gonna have a user facing device from now on at the moment, but our aim to face more on humans.
Yeah, I was just going to say the brilliant part about it is people can understand. You take the blind and you get them to see. Yeah. I mean, even if they never touch the technology, that's one thing. And then if you can actually inquire what's happening with depression, as an example, depression rates in the United States are up 4x. Yep. We have a project with the Meadows Institute, as an example. TechCrunch has a project with the Meadows Institute, which is looking at mental health. It's around the world, but especially in the United States. Having something like that, that's immediately a thread that people can wrap their head around and all that sort of stuff. In fact, let me say something about that. Since you gave an example that was in mental health, I'm going to ask Jello, my assistant, to send you a note to make sure that you share that as part of a pitch to the Global Health Security Initiative is going to have on March 15th, 2022, a big review of technologies and stuff like that. And I'd like you to submit a pitch because that's more perhaps around that specific application, even though you're saying the technology is more general than just that specific application, but that would be of interest in that. Jello will follow up with you with a link to get your information and put you on the right thing. So Richard, thank you for sharing that. Bummed that I didn't get to meet with you in Budapest, but glad to see that you're moving forward on that because it sounds like it's a really important platform technology.
Thank you.
Perfect. There's another entrepreneur that was present in the room, Tomas from Agro Ninja, was sat right to my right as I was presenting. Tomas, especially since I'm in Texas and there's going to be a bunch of Texans that see this, talk about your technology as well, what you're up to, what's your product do?
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for the opportunity. So I try to be brief. Agro Ninja aids cattle monitoring in beef and dairy sector and let you achieve data-driven decisions for a better farm operation with our 3D cameras and AR algorithm online on the fly to give you aggregated info in our cloud-based software solution. So do you want to join us to revolutionize the cattle industry?
Yeah, exactly. So the idea up here is in the cattle industry, especially in feedlots. I don't know if you know about the feedlots in Texas, especially. Being able to recognize what's happening with the cattle. A lot of times, the rancher won't be able to do that, him or herself. That their cameras can actually kind of figure out what's going on with the herd. So that's beautiful. Tomas? What do you need? Who would be the right? Who is it that you think would be the right target customer for us to be searching together for you?
Well, the end customer could be a well-educated farmer who wants to have something new and wants to have some data and more specifically info about their herd. So not just seeing them from afar, but having really valuable on-the-fly data about their weight and withers height, hip height, all these physical measurements. And we are able to give you continuous and automated info about the dairy cattle's body condition score. We can detect lameness. So if a farmer wants to check these and be able to intervene in time, well, it could be, or he could be, or she could be, or really valuable customer. But we are looking for some partners in the US as well to help us scale and to help in sales. So we are wanting to find some really, let's say, crafty guys who think they can beat this barrier farmers have and these let's say traditional points of view that they
Understood.
use these kind of new solutions.
Yeah, well, yeah, that totally makes sense. That part of the way is finding the right channel partner or other partnership to connect in. So what I want to make sure I mention to everybody is make sure that Jello has your URL, your website address, and he'll make sure that on this post and then in the show notes as it goes onto YouTube, and then in the subsequent post onto LinkedIn and Facebook, that there will be information about this as well. So thank you, Tomas. Being from Texas, and given that I've had uncles that have been cattle farmers, I appreciate that. Or cattle ranchers, I guess I should say. I appreciate that, especially with a name like Tech Ranch, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, let's before we finish up, I'm gonna get Pege to actually I mean, he might even share his video again. He did that in the very first time. All right, we'll get him to actually do his elevator pitch. But can everyone just for a second come on to share their screen? I mean, share their faces really quick, and we'll do a quick screenshot. Perfect. Let's see. Can I get Greg from Dermis and Pege, if possible, just real quick? We'll do the and also, of course, Jello, if you can, make sure you get this as well. Jello, can we see you too?
Yep. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, everyone smile. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay, thank you all for doing that. Perfect. Okay, well, so let's see, in wrapping up, Pege, do you want to, are you available to do your pitch really quick again?
Hi, I didn't plan to make a pitch. I didn't want to plan to make a pitch. I can, but I haven't
just do it
prepared
really
myself.
quick. You just rip it. You did fine the very first
Okay.
time you did it.
Okay, so hello guys, my name is PG. I'm the co-founder of Freelusion. We are a show factory creating shows all over the world. Our product we are here is called Mixed Reality Stage System. This is a technology-based system what we offer for theaters. With this, they can create much higher level visuality and high technology pieces in their theaters, so they can bring more people into the theater and get more money. So this is the very short pitch of us. What we do is, as I mentioned, we are a show factory creating shows, and our signature move is we use a lot of visual technology like LED walls, holographic stuff, motion tracking sensors, and so on. And we start to operate a theater in Budapest called RAM Színház, RAM Theater. And we would like to put this system, what we develop, into this theater. And if it works fine, then we would like to sell it to other theaters and they can use it.
Perfect. You don't happen to have that video where you can easily queue it up again, do you, by chance?
I'm on the phone. I'm not that good at Zoom.
I just
What
figured
I can put the link into the chat, so anyone want to see, they can do it. So that's
sounds
what I
great.
can.
We'll make it a point to actually share that as well. Okay, well, cool. I think I got everyone that I can immediately see on the that. So thank you, Pege, and Pege. I'm probably mispronouncing your names, all your names. I apologize. But what we'll do in just wrapping up for today, then, just as a reminder, uh, so we are, as I mentioned earlier, part of the whole idea of this week alone, we see entrepreneurs. I mean, obviously, we interact with entrepreneurs from Mexico, entrepreneurs from Texas, entrepreneurs from Hungary, entrepreneurs from Chile, entrepreneurs from Egypt. Just this 1 week alone, and part of what I want to remind everyone that is the whole idea behind this is connecting and creating bridges around the world that then we can actually help discover talent, develop talent, connect talent to opportunity, and help it scale. And especially in the context of changing the world for the better. This is how we actually do this, right? This is how we actually discover the entrepreneurs that have the solutions for making the world a better place. If you're not on our email list, make sure that you're on our email list. If you see this video later and you've got scar tissue to donate to entrepreneurs around the world, sign up as one of our mentors. If you have a special country that you'd like to be a country manager for, please raise your hand about that as well. There is at this one URL, there's all sorts of details about different places to sign up, and anytime we have to make it easy to discover, just in case that we're about to roll out a couple other areas. Like there's a number of vendors that have been saying, hey, we've got all these. We see that you're ramping things back up. It's after COVID. If you have something that if you want to sponsor one of our programs or be a vendor or connect into one of these, the best way to do this is through going to this URL, because we'll keep on announcing things at this one site. We'll do it obviously through our social media as well, but you can use this to get the word out. On today's program, and just wrapping it up, part of what we'll do is we will have details about each one of the companies that you just heard from in the show notes, and then we will be publishing this. There was a little technical problem, so we didn't publish it live onto Facebook and onto LinkedIn, but we'll make sure that we do that. For anyone that posts there, make sure that you just let us know more about any specific request that you have. If you have difficulty on connecting with the entrepreneurs that presented today, we will support the process of getting you connected up. And then in the coming weeks, we'll have a program about food security. We'll have a program about leveraging technology to solve refugee problems that are happening closer to Turkey and Syria, but obviously has implications in Mexico and other parts of the world as well. So we'll make sure that we have different parties a part of that conversation. You can always check what's happening and what's coming up on the Tech Ranch events calendar, techranch.com/events, or if you go to techranch.com, you'll see on the upper part, we're starting to publish in advance of our programs because we're starting to catch back up on things. So, all right, with that, I will wrap up and say it's always an honor to be here to work with entrepreneurs that are driven by visions and values around the world, and let's go change the world for the better together. With that, we'll call today closed, and I look forward to catching up with you again soon. Everyone take care, and thank you for your time today. And we're out.